Good afternoon again. This video will be about the jungle cruise that I took on the first week I was in Costa Rica. The jungle cruise is a cruise that you can book through Willie Tours, and I go to their website and try to book it there. We happen to have a representative in our lobby, so I book it through him. And so let's go into it. So this cruise is supposed to be, gives you an opportunity to drive through a rainforest, and then you get on a boat and you sail down this river called Rica, something like that. I'll actually get the spelling in with the pictures. And you're going to Tortuguero, and that's where they have the nesting place of these turtles, and it's on the Caribbean side. All right, so this is a long day. You start early in the morning and you drive in a van up a highway that is frequently populated by a lot of traffic, mostly trucks transporting goods. And what we were told was they transport a lot of goods over to the Caribbean side because that's where they have the shipping, and one of their big sellers is pineapple. So they ship their pineapple. They're bigger pineapple shippers for the world than Hawaii. So we drove to this place and got on this little boat. No, it wasn't a boat. It's a catamaran-looking boat. It was actually quite big. This time it was me and a family of 3 from the UK. So we were 4 people and our tour guide. So that's how we did this tour. But they were cool because, they weren't pretentious or anything. And they had been in Costa Rica for 2 weeks and had done everything, I believe, every single last tour. And they had their daughter who was off to university with them. And she wasn't like typical teenager. She was okay. She was on her phone, but everybody was using their phone. So we got on our once we got there and saw that there were I didn't know this because I didn't do a lot of research. There were actual tour bus fulls of people, tourists from Europe, mostly, with their big luggage going to these eco cabins and resorts. So on this river. So you would get on this catamaran thing with the people, and they'd have one for luggage, and they would sail you down and take you to wherever your eco lodge is. And I was surprised because it seemed like instead of having a base in San Jose or somewhere, they brought their big suitcases with them. And you had to go down this dirt path to the riverbed, right? So you're dragging your luggage in the mud, and it was kind of funny to see, but there were a lot of them. You'll see by the pictures, so many. So it's a river, right? It was warm. There should be mosquitoes and bugs. And so what we do is you get on the river cruise. While you cruise, you get to see crocodile, toucan, all other kinds of birds. If you're lucky, you'll see turtles. We were lucky. We saw turtles. So it was quite, the forest was quite filled with animals that we could see. A lot of lizards. We saw the big ones. I'm spacing on the name now, but they were quite huge. We saw the green ones, and I'll get the actual names and put them with the pictures. But as we sailed, of course, you have all kinds of turbulence, and you're shifting around like this, so you're trying not to get wet. But unfortunately, it's the dry season, so some of the water levels were really low. So as we're sailing down, now everybody's telling us there's crocodile in the water, right? We're sailing down, we're going past this one bend, and we notice these guys in the water pushing this barge. They had, their job, I guess, was to transport sand places. So they had loaded it up, and then it was too heavy to sail. So they were all in the water pushing, right? crocodile-infested water. So I kept thinking, watching them, people telling me they're crocodiles, and now we saw little baby, well, we saw medium-sized and young crocodiles, but I didn't see any adults, but the other people had better eyes and they said they saw one. So I kept thinking, and then I asked, how many crocodile are actually here? Because shouldn't they have a spotter if they're a crocodile and they're in the water, all of them pushing a barge? So if they don't see it, then someone's going to get hurt or killed. And no one said anything, right? And the other tourists thought, they reacted to the same. They were like, yeah, that seems kind of strange. The reason why I kept thinking about this is as you're sailing along, the driver knows exactly where the animals are. So he will stop and pause, and they all do this because it's jam-packed full of tours. They all pause at the place. So either they get a, real-time notification that where the animals are, where they were spotted, or they know where the animals live, which is kind of disturbing. Why would the animal just stay exactly where they put them? Or why are they always in the same spot? Makes me wonder. So, but needless to say, we had fun. We sailed all the way down and we got to the place where we were going to go. So we got off and we were in this teeny tiny town. This town is 400 people, large, right? So the first thing we did was we got off the boat and we took a hike. So we hiked to the actual Caribbean side. We went to the beach and the sand was completely black because it's volcanic. And this is the beach where at night they have turtle spotting tours. So a lot of the tourists that were on the catamaran, but not in our group, they were there for that event. So they were all over the place. There were so many of them. So that's a big deal. I don't know if it's the time for them to, so the turtles come onto the sand, lay eggs, and then the hatchlings have to crawl back into the water. So I think it's around this time, but anyway, that's what a lot of people were doing. So we walked to the beach, we took pictures, it was nice. Nobody was on the beach. It was hot. Caribbean side is quite different than San Jose, but I guess not many people go to that beach. It would be weird to hang out on that beach in black sand, but we could have done it, but the wind was kind of blowing right there. So then we walked back in, and the tour guide wanted us to see some more toucan or macaw. He wanted us to see some macaw. So as he wanted us to go on this path, and which takes us through some of the rainforest. So we start walking, and it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And I had been told by the tour guide, no, the guy who booked the tour in at the hotel to wear pants because, you have a lot of bugs and stuff. So I had long pants on, and they had shorts on. But it was boiling hot, and we were just, trudging along. But we did see some macaw, but it was hard to take a picture of them. We took a picture of random other things. Some of the plants he described. I saw my first real-life spider in the wild, so I took a picture of that. I don't know why, but I did. And so then we came back and we went to a local restaurant, and this restaurant, the food was delicious, and it was run by this Caribbean Afro-Latina, if I can say that, and her food was, it's the same traditional Costa Rican meal, but it was flavored differently and so tasty. We were very, ravenous at that point, so we all jumped in and just gobbled it up, except for the girl, the teenager going to university. She didn't really have a taste for it, so she didn't hardly eat anything, which I thought was kind of typical. So because we were sitting outside, we drew a lot of the tourists in, so her place was packed when we left. Oh, and then we saw a lot of stray dogs that were well kept. They weren't actually stray, but they were very friendly, and they tried to get stuff from from the tourists, because that's what they do, because tourists will feed them, thinking they're stray. We walked around the town. We got back on the boat. Now, when you're not looking for animals, these guys drive these boats so fast. Now the water is spraying up on us as we're driving. It's spraying. I'm all both sides spraying. Nobody really said anything. We were a low-key group. Nobody was like, oh, my hair. Nobody did any of that. We had a good time. And we made it back and got back on our bus and drove back to our, prospective hotels. And that was a good day. So, like I said, I'll add some pictures to the rest of the presentation with the real spelling of the places we went and a picture of the restaurant. I didn't get a picture of the owner because that's just rude to, make people take pictures. Anyway, that's it for that one. And my next video will be on, I think I'll talk briefly about my tour that I took, the local tour at Hacienda La Chimba. And then after that, it'd be my first volcano tour. I went to the Irazu volcano on Monday of the following week. All right, bye.